Despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be. I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. The work of creating a better world is hard. Especially in times like the present, it can seem quite hopeless. It is indeed easy to find ourselves entering a state of despair. As much as we see glimmers of hope, we live in a time of immense uncertainty. We have to plan and act to create a future that feels impossible to discern. Even while this feels like a moment of opportunity, the sheer scale of the human tragedy now occurring makes this kind of thinking difficult, if not impossible. Indeed, how can we plan for a future when we don't even know when this current state of suspended animation will end? How much energy should we invest in the current moment when the promise of normalcy lies on the horizon? This poem, The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry, speaks of reassurance and comfort that can be found in the natural world during these times. So often we see the natural world as a source of refreshment and beauty. Spending now time outside has significant mental and physical health benefits. Indeed, access to natural amenities should be a right for all. It's something that is a point of great injustice that we must fix. But this poem also speaks to something more. It speaks to how the natural world should inform our work as community builders. It imparts two clear calls to us. First, we must come to understand that our communities operate as complex ecosystems with great similarities with the natural world. Almost every community situation has a corresponding natural occurrence that should inform our response. Thus, as our understanding grows, so should our appreciation for the extraordinary regenerative and transformational capacities of the natural world. It stands as an untapped resource full of potential best practices that have yet to be tapped. And while the natural world is by no means a panacea, there's nowhere else we can go to see better examples of the delicate balancing act required to build a successful place. Indeed, nowhere else where we see so many seemingly independent objects that are completely defined by their relationships with others. Nowhere else that we see how simultaneously complex and simple ecosystems can, will, and should be. But beyond this, and as a personal note to us all, this poem lays out how hard the mental struggle is. Our expectations can be our own worst enemy. Each success falls short in some way, but it also feeds more ambition for us as we look to the next round of projects, proposals, ideas, and implementations. When our great efforts continually fall short and we see how long the struggle will be, it's hard to maintain energy and avoid burnout. We know it's important to do this work, but it's still hard to pull together the energy. How many change makers have we seen beaten down by the difficulty of the world and the process we must engage in? This poem sends out a clarion call to take time for reflection and move forward with limited expectations. As contradictory as it seems, having limited or no expectation of success frees us up to be more creative and can lead to better results. Sometimes a lack of hope also means not fearing failure. As Camus so eloquently stated in The Myth of Sisyphus, understanding the absurdity of the situation allows us to cast off our shackles and move forward with renewed freedom and energy. It allows us the capacity to take the courageous and creative actions necessary, even when they seem doomed to fail. So in the end, there is great wisdom to be found in the natural world. We have not treated it particularly well, and yet it continues to give us and provide us a path forward. It gives to us in so many ways, and we must look to it for more and more answers as we look forward. Let it both calm our minds and stimulate a way forward.